Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching and Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channels for the WCW Saturday Night Review Series. December 14th, 1991 is our focus in this moment. We open with a Marcus Alexander Bagwell match. Bagwell new to the WCW ranks at the time, and he is facing off against noted trainer Rip Rogers. Bagwell managing to become a major force in the area at the time. This is a 1 hour edition of the show, by the way. Super basic match here for Bagwell. Bagwell gets a few arm drags, tries to take his man off, and basically getting things pretty, you know, I would say Bagwell's aggressive, but he's certainly lost out there. He's not necessarily as assertive as you'd like to see a guy be, and all of that. But in any event, arm bars, arm locks, and the like, super simple stuff. Nothing that Bagwell can really botch, which I think you need from a guy who is in a situation where he doesn't have a lot of experience. Bagwell, though, does look like $1,000,000, and actually, my enjoyment of Bagwell when he is younger is far better than his buff Bagwell stuff, even though people say he's more charismatic as buff. Bagwell drives the knee into the back of the wrist for Rip Rogers. Rogers, of course, becomes the main trainer in OVW for years and years. So interesting to see him lead a guy like Mark Bagwell to a decent match. Bagwell gets a couple of drop kicks, hip tosses, and the like, and then eventually cleans out to a clothesline. Bagwell made to look like a true babyface here in 1991, right ahead of the Starrcade pay-per-view, which I think he's part of the Battle Bowl thing, if I remember correctly. Anyway, Fisherman Suplex, aka the Perfect Plex by Bagwell for a victory. And we go forward there. Cactus Jack is out next. Bagwell basically says he is not willing to take the advice of the Dangerous Alliance. He's there for the fans. He wants to be a champion. Basic babyface. Simple promo. Nothing that he needs to do that's anything other than the simplest of the simple, but at the same time, really a good thing. And for the most part, Bagwell makes a good accounting of himself in a time when true baby faces and heels matter, and also in a time when, kind of having a clue how to build people matters more than the number of spots you can do. Anyway, Cactus Jack with Abdullah the Butcher out next. They are tenuous friends at best. Pez Watley is Cactus's main opponent. Also, he and Abdullah have kind of been doing the back and forth thing since around Halloween Havoc in October. So they're friends, but they fight, but they're friends, but they fight. Kind of a goofy storyline, but at the same time, Cactus Jack gets over as mentally unstable with the gimmick that way. So it makes sense that they would do that when trying to push Cactus as something a bit of an oddity. Anyhow, Cactus manages to hit some clotheslines in the corner, also goes after after getting a victory himself. Then we go to more highlights, as we've seen a couple weeks in total of Jushin Thunder Liger. That's part of the WCW magazine thing. They announced the light heavyweight champion Brian Pillman and Liger will be going at it. Highlights of that match is the matches with Benoit are here. That's the second week in a row that they end up doing it. Actually, I think they do it the following week. So, right up until the debut of Liger, who, by the way, is a one of the pioneers in the light heavyweight division, actually using the same basic match footage each time out for the next 2 or 3 weeks before they get into it. Then we go to another in series of matches, highlights of a Todd Champion and his partner against the Young Pistols. Young Pistols, Steve Armstrong, Tracy Smothers, your U.S. Tag Team Champions. They have a short, albeit impactful match. Todd Champion and Fight Chip defeating Tracy Smothers and Steve Armstrong's elimination match. Chip is pinned. Armstrong was pinned. Champion pins Smothers. They basically stretch this story into longer than it should go But Smothers and Armstrong, if you're interested in kind of looking at, you know, how to tell a story that is less. I don't even say. I wouldn't even say necessarily obtruse. It's just less uh, um, complicated, less, um, I guess, frustrated or anything like that. Both the heels are phenomenal at that. The Patriots are a decent enough team, babyface wise, at the time. Probably wouldn't get over today, and honestly, all nationalistic gimmicks to me should be abominated anyway, since you have a worldwide audience now more than ever before with the internet and streaming and all of that. But it's there at the time. They do the crotch spot on the middle rope. They basically try to get Smothers to trip himself up, and in all sincerity, kind of they hold that, and it goes through pretty simply. In any event, um, you know, Smothers manages to kick a couple times, and Champion comes up and over, hits a one-legged drop kick, gets things going in his direction. Tracy Smothers and Steve Armstrong, phenomenal sellers. Both guys could have done so much more in the business had they been allowed to have stories that weren't start and stop and start and stop. But anyhow, um, consistent tag offs, good cutoff on Armstrong in the basic corner, hard shots by Tracy Smothers. Smothers, more of the talker as a heel in the team, and as mentioned, the baby faces do get a victory here. Van Hammer up next. Van Hammer, of course, relatively new, heavy metal Van Hammer. A character that I think could have worked more had he had more seasoning before getting signed to a major contract, but they were going for that certain character, which he was able to embody. The hair metal band type guy. Anyway, Pat Rose is his opponent for the day. Super short match, probably about 4 minutes in length. Punch kick, a couple arm drags, a couple of body slams, and the slingshot suplex by Van Hammer. Van Hammer, of course, most notably going into his matches with Cactus Jack as I guess you'd say the major bit of things, or the simplest bit of things, and so that's there. And ultimately, we kind of get to a uh, basic cross body. Steamboat manages to come out and cut a promo, hyping his desire to get even with the Dangerous Alliance, and also thanking the fans. Hype for Starrcade upcoming. Starrcade 1991. Remember, this is their marquee event, and is a Spider-Man knockoff that was portrayed by Brad Armstrong at the time. Arachnaman out here in a basic match of some note, as Lady Blossom is there with stunning Steve Austin at the time, I believe. And again, you kind of have some really early Steve Austin goodness. Arachnaman carrying him to a decent match. Austin beautiful at stalling his way into getting under the skin of Arachnaman, and the Lady Blossom character doesn't last too much longer here. Didn't realize that Austin hadn't gone into the Dangerous Alliance yet. Austin is your television champion at the time. Crossbody by Arachnaman. I think that they wanted the kids to like this more than kids actually did, but it makes logical sense. Anyway, Austin manages a crossbody and manages to dropkick under, or get hit with a dropkick under the chin. Couple of drop kicks, and we get Arachnaman managing to hit a body slam, and ultimately we see Arachnaman getting things going his way, and we hit things forward, and ultimately get things going in a manner that is valuable here. Um, So, basic maneuvers and actually Medusa is out there. The Lady Blossom thing has stopped. For some reason, I had written Lady Blossom, but I think it's because I've been watching so much WCW lately that Blossom and Medusa could look interchangeable if you're not looking close enough. Anyhow, needless to say, there is a good side suplex by Austin. Austin managing to be led to a really decent match here. Worth going out of your way to see. Austin also having some amazing ability to, Austin's biggest ability at this point is the selling and the pacing of matches. It's something that he learns above himself. There is a back suplex and the win for Austin. Pretty interesting. The worst part of Austin's matches at this point are the Technicolor tights that he wears, just kind of goofy. Anyhow, we see Thomas Rich and Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker facing off against Big Josh and his tag team partner, which I believe at this point is Mike Graham and Big Josh. I mean, Mike Graham, again, here, in all sincerity, probably here more as a thank you from Dusty Rhodes for years of loyalty and service, more than actually being somebody they needed at the time. But again, you're kind of you'll get that when bookers have their favorite friends, their favorite people that they enjoy or whatever, and so, it's there. And Mike Graham at the time, after the leaving of Florida, isn't exactly going to be ever again a major deal. Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker becomes the standout and the person to watch for the training at the power plant. They do the wishbone spot on Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker. Parker takes the majority of punishment, mainly because Thomas Rich they're trying to salvage. They don't really do much with salvaging him, but they're trying anyway, and it's there, and you can see that the effort is there at least, minorly. Some hard shots by Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker. Parker manages to keep things going. Bobby Eaton comes out for a match with Ricky Steamboat, which is always good. Medusa out there with Bobby Eaton as a member of the Dangerous Alliance. Dangerous Alliance formulating here in late 1991. I did not actually realize it went back that far, but again, my experience with WCW is 92 forward, so 1991, something I'm getting to watch for the first time here and actually enjoying quite a bit. Bobby Eaton taking his adversary down very basically. Punch kick, super basic, and Steamboat, a phenomenal seller. No big surprise there to any Ricky Steamboat fans. But the manage of things going in an interesting way there. Hard chops by Steamboat. Steamboat managing to brawl with him on the outside of the ring, and super basic run there. Hard shots by Eaton, who tries to, I guess you'd say, cut the ring off and keep things going. Manages to slip a bit too in the brawl on the outside. The Steamboat and Eaton series worth going out of your way to see. They have several matches during this time period through the first quarter of 1992. So when you see these two, you know that they're going to go at it. Eaton takes things back into the ring, but manages to send Steamboat back outside, this time using a steel chair, and that doesn't go quite according to plan, but and then ultimately managing to get things going in that general direction. Then we kind of see a brawl between Steamboat and Eaton, and they're in the middle of the ring again in a main event style situation. Eaton going for the Alabama Jam on the outside. with only about 2 minutes left in the program. Eaton manages to eat the feet, doesn't hit the Alabama Jam, goes for some sort of splash, but anyhow, Steamboat managing to cut things off and hip toss and hard shots along the way there. Steamboat managing to come back with a series of chops and ultimately in tight cradle roll up 1, 2, 3. Steamboat gets a victory, or almost gets a victory, and then they do more series of pinfalls, trying to get a quick victory here, and ultimately a really good match, worth checking out just from the standpoint that every move makes sense, but also because the furthering of the feud between the Babyfaces and the Dangerous Alliance is properly portrayed as a major deal. Steamboat getting your victory. To close the show, we'll be back with more right after this.